Let's continue our video on intracellular accumulations. In the previous video, I already told you about the mechanism of accumulations and what substance can be accumulated. It can be lipid, protein, hyaline chains, glycogen. It can be some kind of exogenous pigment or endogenous pigment. In previous video, I already told you about great details in the fat accumulations, protein accumulations, and hyaline changes, and some physiology of the intermediate filament, some physiology of the cytoskeletal filaments. And let's continue the intracellular accumulations. In this video, the remaining accumulation that can occur inside the cells. So let's continue. First of all, glycogen accumulations. So normally, what's the physiology of the glycogens? Then after, we are going to see the pathology of glycogen accumulations. So normally, when we eat some things, that absorb in our gut and converting into the glucose, and then when our body has, after the eating so much amount of glucose, to maintain the normal level of glucose, that glucose is converting into the glycogens, and this glycogen go and normally deposited in the some tissue. Okay, these are the normal physiology of the glycogen. Okay, so normally what happened? So normally when our body is in the require the glucose, when the glucose level is go down, this storage glycogen is converting into the glucose. So these are the cycle of the glucose and the glycogen. Okay, so let's see the pathology. So normally, if there is any type of abnormality in this pathway, glucose, glycogen, then again glycogen to glucose, if there's any kind of abnormality in this pathway, that can lead to the accumulation of the glycogen, and this refers to the glycogen storage disease. So what are the definition of the glycogen accumulation? So here it is written: excessive intracellular accumulation of glycogen are seen in patient with an abnormality in either glucose or glycogen metabolism. Okay, so normally when glycogen is metabolized, it's converting into the glucose, and when glucose is too much, it is converting into the glycose. So if there is any problem in the glucose and the glycogen pathway, that can lead to the accumulation of large amount of the glycogens. So normally, what abnormality in the glucose that can develop the accumulation of the glycogen? So this abnormality in the glucose, it is includes the like diabetic mellitus. Okay, so normally what happened in the diabetic mellitus? Normally in the diabetic patient, high level of glucose. So to compensate, to try to maintain the glucose level, more amount of glucose is converting into the glycogen, and this more amount of glycogen is go and deposited in the many organs. In which organ it is mainly deposited in the renal tubular epithelial and the liver cells, like beta cell of the pancreas and heart muscle cells. Okay, this is the problem at the level of the glucose that can lead to the glycogen accumulations. And other example is glycogen storage disease. So as I already told you in the physiology, when our body is require glucose, this glycogen is converting into the glucose. So this breakdown of the glycogen is occur with the help of some enzyme. What are the enzymes that involved in the breakdown of the glycogen to the glucose? This enzyme are the enzyme is the glucose 6 phosphatase. So normally this glycogen is converting into the glucose with the help of one glucose 6 phosphatase. These are the pathway. So if this enzyme glucose 6 phosphatase defect, so this glycogen can be converting into the glucose? No guys, so this glycogen is not able to converting into the glucose. So there are high level of accumulation of glycogen inside our cells. So normally what are the examples? So if the glycogen metabolism defect, that referred to what glycogen storage disease, this can lead to what glycogen storage disease. And which enzyme is defect here? In that condition, the enzyme defect is glucose 6 phosphatase. That can lead to what breakdown of result in the abnormal breakdown of glycogen. So glycogen is not able to break down in that condition, and then it can lead to what massive accumulation of glycogen. So I hope this glycogen accumulation is clear to you. And our next is, when this glycogen is accumulated in some cells, so this can produce any kind of abnormalities, that cell is not able to function properly. So when we are doing the biopsy and take under the microscopic appearance of this, so what kind of microscopic appearance this glycogen give us under the microscope? So remember that this glycogen is give us appear as clear vacuoles that dissolve in aqueous fixative. In the fat, it is also give us clear vacuole, but in the fat it is a round vacuole. But in that it is also a vacuole, but it is not a round. It is present inside the aqueous fixative. So it is not round. It present in some other kind of shape. So here you can clearly see the slide, that is the, what are the example of this slide? Glycogen storage disease. So if any kind of this slide come into your exam, so remember this kind of appearance. What kind of appearance? Clear vacuoles that dissolve in the aqueous fixative. And normally in many cancers we see the glycogen deposited, like any kind of cancer, many cancers like renal cell carcinoma, hepatic cell carcinoma, we see the glycogen deposited in the renal cells, in hepatic cells. Okay guys, remember this point also. And what are the special stains to detect the glycogen? Nowadays this pathology microbiology integration link is very high. So these are the microbiology level. What are the stains? So what's the meaning of stain? So normally stain is used to higher magnify the view of the cells in the under the microscope. So normally there are many type of stain present, but some stain are specific for some cells. So what are the special stain to detect the glycogen? So special stain to detect the glycogen is what? PAS positive. What's the meaning by the PAS positive? PAS stands for the periodic acid skiff. What stands for periodic acid skiff? And what kind of appearance it is give? It gives us pink or magenta color appearance. What kind of pink or magenta color appearance? And what are the other substances that are the PAS positive? Like this glycogen is a PAS positive substance. It's like that there are many some other substance that's also glycogen like PAS positive. And what's the meaning by PAS positive substance? So with the help of the PAS stain you can magnify the view of that substance. So with the help of this PAS positive we can magnify the view of the glycogen. So what are the other substance if we use the PAS positive stain that give us the more clear magnification? So these substances are normally what? Fungi, lymphoblast, basement membranes. Okay, these are also other PAS positive substance. So these are the glycogen accumulation. So normally occur due to what? Due to any kind of abnormality in the glucose and any kind of abnormality in the glycogen metabolism. Okay, so any patients. So remember, so any person in the glucose level remain very high, so there are high chance of developing the what? Glycogen storage disease. So what are the patient in that glucose always remain high? These are the diabetic patient. In that patients the glucose is remain, so diabetic patient have a very high chance of development of the glycogen storage disease. And what are the other accumulations? So glycogen accumulation is done. Other is the pigment accumulations. So what's the meaning by pigment accumulations? So normally there are mainly two types of pigments: exogenous pigment and endogenous pigments. So what's the meaning by the exogenous pigment? So exogenous pigment is like we taking anything that come outside from our cells and come and accumulate inside our body. That refers to the exogenous pigment. And what the meaning by the endogenous pigments? Anything that produced by our body and it is accumulated inside the cells, that refers to as the exogenous pigments. We see the example one by one. So normally, first of all, exogenous pigment, very simple example of exogenous pigment. So if you are doing a tattooing, any kind of tattoo, if you are drawing in your skin that permanently remain in your skin, this is the what kind of pigment? Exogenous pigment. And other example of the one example of the exogenous pigment is tattoo. And the other example of the exogenous pigment is, so normally most common is the carbon, and the carbon, that's coal dust. So normally if any kind of coal worker, it's chronic, for the prolonged time it's working in the factory, so that carbon molecule go and accumulate it inside the lung. That refers to as what? Anthracosis. And this anthracosis lead to what? Emphysema. Emphysema, like alveoli is not able to dilate properly, and some kind of breathing problem. So this condition refers to what? Coal worker pneumoconiosis. So accumulation of the carbon dust, coal dust, that can lead to formation what? Pneumoconiosis. These are the example of the exogenous pigment. And what are the example of the endogenous pigment? So there are mainly three examples of the endogenous pigment. Number one is lipofuscin, second one is hemosiderin, and third one is the melanin. We see this one by one. Let's see about the lipofuscin. So as name suggests, lipofuscin. So lipofuscin, it is composed of what? Lipid and lipid and phospholipid, and along with in complex some kind of protein is also present in that lipofuscin. Okay, so normally lipofuscin is mainly composed of three things: lipid, phospholipid, and protein. These three substances together mixed and accumulated inside the cell, that refers to as a lipofuscin. And this lipofuscin is derived from the where? So normally this lipofuscin is derived from the lipid peroxidation of membrane. So normally, as you know, membrane are the form of the what? Membrane, cell membrane is formed of what? Lipid. So by the help of lipid peroxidation, so abnormal lipid membrane that destroy, that develop a what? That go into the autophagocytosis, to destroy that membrane, that go into the what? Autophagocytosis. And normally this autophagocytosis can then lead to the what? Accumulation of lipid. Okay, and that can lead to what? Lipofuscin kind appearance. What kind of appearance? That we can see in the future. So remember guys, that it is not injurious to cell. When the lipofuscin is normally when the lipofuscin accumulate inside the cell, it cannot do any damage to the cell. It can be seen as many physiological conditions. But one very important significance of the lipofuscin, it is important lies being in the telltale sign. What's the meaning by the telltale sign? So any kind of free radical injury occur. In the free radical injury, the damage to the what? Cell membrane. This cell membrane is damaged, and this cell membrane have what? Lipid. This lipid and phospholipid, and along with some protein, this go and accumulate in the cytoplasm. So this cytoplasm accumulate together, they give us what kind of a telltale sign. So this telltale sign in which conditions? There are free radical injury and lipid peroxidation. These are the very important. If any kind of radical injury occur to the cells, that can give us what? Telltale sign appearance. What is the meaning by the telltale sign? Accumulation, lipofuscin accumulates in the cytoplasms. And normally it is also called as the lipofuscin is also called as the aging pigment or wear and tear pigment. As our age increasing, normally this lipofuscin accumulation are also increasing in the physiological condition in our cells, because it is not injurious to cell in some condition. But in which condition it is injurious to cell? In the free radical injury and the lipid peroxidation, that give us what? Telltale sign. And other is what? It is responsible for brown atrophy of liver and heart. What's the meaning by these lines? So normally responsible as our age is increasing, this heart muscle and the liver are become small in the size. So that refers to what? Brown atrophy of liver and heart. This lipofuscin is also responsible. So our age increasing, it becomes small because the membrane are detached, and this membrane go and accumulation in the cytoplasm. That give us what? Lipofuscin accumulations, and they see in the what? Brown atrophy of liver and heart. So normally what are the microscopical findings we see in the lipofuscin accumulations? So normally the microscopical finding is present in that condition are microscopical findings that are present. So microscopical finding, perinuclear brown pigment we see in this condition. What? Perinuclear brown pigment. So here in the image, here's the nucleus, and surrounding the nucleus you clearly see this pigment. So these are what? Perinuclear brown pigment. Perinuclear brown pigment. These are the appearance of what? Lipofuscin. And what are the special stain to detect the lipofuscin? So special stain to detect the lipofuscin is what? Oil red O. Like for glycogen it is what? Pass positive. For the lipofuscin it is a oil red O. Let's already cover the lipofuscin endogenous pigment accumulation, and other is what? Hemosiderin. What the meaning by the hemosiderin? So normally hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is normally present in where? Our RBC. And what's the lifespan of RBC? It's around 120 days. So after the 120 days, if this RBC is destructed, so that hemoglobin molecule is also released by the RBC. So normally what occur? This hemoglobin is converting into hemoglobin breakdown occur in two components: heme component and iron component. Okay guys, this heme component is go in the liver and by converting to what? Bilirubin, and then it's converted to what? Biliverdin, and that is moved out from the cells. But this iron is converting to the what? Ferritin. ferritin. It is a free form of the iron storage, and then it is converted into what? Hemosiderin. So remember guys, what's hemosiderin stand for? It's the storage form of the iron. What? Storage form of iron. Remember guys, okay? So here it is a hemoglobin derived, and what kind of appearance it is give? It gives us a golden yellow to brown granular or crystalline pigment. If we see in the microscopy, this gives us what kind of appearance? Golden yellow to brown granular or crystalline pigment, and it is one of the major forms of storage of iron that I already told you. Hemosiderin is storage form of the iron. Okay, so normally in which conditions we see in the hemosiderin? So normally these are the normal storage form, but when the iron load occur, so too much amount of iron, and this too much amount of iron is converting into the hemosiderin and go inside the cell, and it is accumulated, then become the irritable for cells. So normal mainly is hemosiderin is seen in which condition? Mainly seen in the iron overload conditions. Okay, so what are the iron example of the iron overload conditions? So hemorrhage, too much bleeding occurs. So too much bleeding, the destruction of the RBC, and other is bruise. Other is a continued blood transfusions, and then thalassemia major and hemolytic anemia. These all are the example of the excessive iron overload conditions. In the hemorrhage, in these all conditions, too much breakdown of the RBC that can lead to the too much production of the irons. So this iron is go and accumulated inside the cells. So here it is also written one very important, golden yellow. And this lipofuscin is also give us what kind of appearance? Perinuclear brown pigment. It is also brown pigment, and it is also brown pigment. So how in the slide you are able to diagnose? So remember guys, normally that lipofuscin is a perinuclear, and here not term any kind of perinuclear. So it is also give us same kind of appearance, brown appearance. Hemosiderin will give same kind of appearance, but there's mainly a perinuclear. This is not a perinuclear. And one more different according to history. If the examiner asks you the questions regarding any kind of bleeding disorders and any kind of bleeding disorders or related with the any kind of hemorrhages, accident, that any kind of iron overload finding you are seeing in the question, so there's a mainly answer is hemosiderin if brown fat is present, not the lipofuscin. Okay guys, and if the examiner tell you the history of the aging patient, the aging patient in which what accumulation we see? Lipofuscin accumulation we see. Okay, hemosiderin. And as here the special stain for the hemosiderin, it is a Prussian blue or the pulse stain. Like the lipofuscin special stain is oil red O. For the glycogen special stain was pass positive. Like same, the special stain for the hemosiderin is what? Prussian blue or pulse stains. So normally guys, remember one very important point. The main cause of hemosiderosis is, what is the meaning by the hemosiderosis? Too much iron present in our body, that's referred to as what? Hemosiderosis. That is increased absorption of dietary iron due to an inborn error metabolism called hemochromatosis. Okay, so normally in this condition, what newborn is absorb too much amount of iron, but it's not able to metabolize that iron. So this iron remain in your body, and that can lead to what? Storage of that iron and give us hemosiderin appearance. This disease is called as what? Hemochromatosis. Okay, and what is the most common cause of what is the most common cause of the hemosiderosis? Increased iron in your blood. It is an iron absorption. Okay, and that iron is not able to metabolize. It is in error metabolisms. And our last accumulations is the melanin. So you are referred this term melanin so many times. So normally these are the, what is the melanin? First of all, we see the physiology. So normally melanin is the physiological black color pigment. Okay, black color pigment, and this is normally present in the basal layer, the skin, in the hair, and eye, and in brain. In the brain, which part? Substantia nigra. Substantia nigra. So this all are the normal melanin, normal physiological melanin presence. What happens if this melanin accumulate too much inside your cells? So if this melanin is accumulate so much inside your cell, that give us what? Blackish appearance to that kind of cells. It is not lead to damage to your cell and not any kind of pathology it can develop, but just it give up too dark blackish appearance to your cells. Remember this point. And remember one very important thing, melanin is derived from one very important amino acid, it is a tyrosine. So it can direct one line question that can ask the melanin is derived from tyrosines. And here one very important point is written. So normally in the Parkinson's disease, as I already told you, in the brain melanin is present in the where? Substantia nigra. So in the Parkinson's disease, what occurs? There's as age is passing, there's a reduced amount of the melanin. So in the Parkinson's disease, so it is mainly occurring in the aged patient. So melanin amount is also reduced. That can give us what? Pale substantia nigra. So normally substantia nigra is black, but due to age, low melanin and the Parkinson's disease, these are the one finding in the Parkinson's disease, pale substantia nigra seen in the Parkinson's disease. And normally, what are the special stain to detect the melanin? So remember name guys, it is a Mason Fontana. Mason Fontana. And what are the markers of the malignant melanoma? So like the melanin, it's produced by what? Melanocytes. This melanin is mainly produced by which kind of cells? Melanocytes is produced the melanin. These cells are present in the skin cells, hair cells, eye cells, in the brain. Okay guys, so normally what happened, this melanocyte is become a malignant tumor cells. So too much amount of it, that can lead to production of too much amount of the melanin. So that can lead to what are the malignant melanoma. That's the term refers to as the malignant melanoma. That's melanocyte become the cancerous cell and produce too much amount of the melanin all over the body. Therefore it is a malignant condition, malignant melanoma. So to detect that tumor, what are the special markers that scientists develop to detect the tumor? So these are the markers like HMB45, S100 and Milan A. These are three very important markers to detect the melanin. So this all our remaining accumulation, first is glycogen accumulations, mainly seen in the glycogen storage disease and the diabetic patients. And remember the appearance and the special stain. Other is the pigment accumulation, it can be exogenous, endogenous. Endogenous is the lipofuscins, hemosiderin and the melanin. Let's try to solve out some question banks. So what are the perinuclear brown pigments are seen in? So in which condition you see the brown pigment? Brown pigment can be mainly seen in the two conditions. Which two conditions? Lipofuscin and the what? Hemosiderin. But here examiner asks you what? Perinuclear. So perinuclear is present in where? It is mainly present in the lipofuscin. Okay guys. And other is what is the special stain for the hemosiderin. So what are the special stain for the hemosiderin? So special stain for the hemosiderin is Prussian blue hemosiderin, and oil red O is a special stain for what? It is special stain for lipofuscin here. And hemotoxin and eosinophil, it is a common stain in pathology, and Mason Fontana is a special stain for what? Melanin. Okay guys. Last question. A chronic diabetic patient have high risk of accumulation of which substance? A chronic diabetic patients have high risk of accumulation of which substance? So here it is asked high level of glucose. So normally glucose is diabetes is a condition in where the glucose level is very high. So normally this glucose is converting into the what? Glycogen. So high level of development of what? Glycogen storage disease. So glycogen is answer. So that's all about the accumulations. One accumulation is remain. There's a calcium accumulations that I take in the separate video. This all accumulations. So see part 1 and part 2 together, so that make you sense. Okay guys, thank you.